Uh, so, good afternoon, one and all. So, it is my pleasant duty to discuss with you some of my experience as regards to the bamboo as a structural material for housing sector, and I will be discussing something about its taxonomy and future directions. Because whenever you are discussing about this kind of a material, we have to think of scalability if really we want to promote this particular product or material in housing sector. Nowadays you must have heard a lot about different kind of disasters which are happening all around the globe. In that you must have also come across that during the rainy season you have a drought. During the heavy chilly weather conditions you have extremely hot weather. Wherever you are expecting that this location is not subjected to any kind of a rainfall or a flooding kind of a thing, so there you are finding flooding. So these all odd things are happening, and for that purpose simple uh, expert group all around the globe is focusing on the climatic change. You must have come across the IPCC report to 2021, which is basically intergovernmental panel on climatic change. First issue has been submitted and which has quantified all these aspects, but they have not still quantified or addressed the issue how we can control all these things and what are the measures need to be taken. And in that context, this particular program is a ideal scenario or ideal uh, opportunity to bring to your notice, so that we can, if we can promote the bamboo, so we can reduce the carbon footprint. At the same time we can generate a lot of economical and physical growths in day to day life, and particularly helping the poorest of the poor people of our society. So, as you know, the bamboo, which is being widely used for different purposes, from uh, when you talk about the housing sector, it is being used as a complete building system or a structural element like doors, panels, mats, or in when you look into the construction aspect, it can be used as a scaffold, and there are other different applications which are being widely used. But whatever we are using at the moment, we need to accelerate scalable, make it more scalable, and for that purpose we need to have deeper understanding about this particular material, and so that we can take it more higher level. So when you, before going to into structural aspect, I would like to draw your kind attention on the total on the its percentage of forest in our country, and the how much contribution has been made by the forest in production of this bamboo. So we have 329 million hectares of land area, out of which 63.34 million hectares is notified as a forest, which is around 19%. And among this 19%, 11% is dense forest, and rest of the 8.15% is in open and mangroves. Out of this total uh, 63.3 million hectares of land, 8.96 million of hectares of land is basically utilized for production of or cultivation of the bamboo, and in which around 60%, 67% is clump, and 33% are non-clumping forms. And very good news is that the in India is the biggest producer of bamboo all around the globe, to the tune of around 45% across the globe. Again, when you see the bamboo, basically it is addresses three major national centers. First of all, ecological security. It is not only conserving the forest by through timber substitution, but also it can be used as an alternate material for non-degradable materials or high energy consuming materials like metals and plastics. Apart from that, sustainable food security is also offered by means of a bamboo, in which the bamboo based agroforestry systems can be promoted, which indirectly helps to make this soil more fertile in and around the region. And apart from that, few people are consuming the bamboo as a pickle and other for other purposes. So these are the another food security issues are assured from the bamboo. When you talk about the livelihood security, definitely when you are promoting the use of bamboo, you are developing more employment generations, basically in planting and primary processing and manufacturing stages. So there are multi manifold utilization benefits which you can gain out of the bamboo. And as I mentioned earlier, that India is the home to almost 45% of world's bamboo production, and in which the 4.5 million tons annually being produced by from 8.96 million of hectares of land in our country. And seven sisters of states, that is Northeast, has more contribution in production of the bamboo, which is to the tune of 66% out of total bamboo being produced in our country. When you see all these seven sister states, so in that as well, the Assam, Mizoram, and then Manipur is the leading states wherein largest generation or cultivation of bamboo is happening. And important thing is the good kind of species are also being produced in these states. And for that purpose, if we look into what kind of species, so this is the slide which highlights you the distribution of some of the important species in India and the corresponding states which are very good acclimatizing for the growth of those particular or respective species of bamboo. Whatever the bamboo we are producing in our country, so that is being utilized for various purposes, mainly for the pulp by the pulp and paper industries, housing, non-residential areas, then rulers, and for fuel, furniture, and several other sectors. In construction sector, when you talk about, it is mainly being used for the scaffolding. Now people are trying to utilize the bamboo as a bamboo reinforced concrete replacement of reinforcement or mild steel or HYSD rebars. Then apart from that, roofing, walling, and door window panels which are being used. So now the another promising or niche area to utilize the bamboo in housing sector is how we can make use of efficient connections joined in bamboo. And second one is the how we can effectively replace the reinforcement by substitution of bamboo, good quality of bamboo particularly, and that can only be done after having a deeper understanding about its species and some of the engineering properties of bamboo. Whenever you are talking about the characteristics of the bamboo, then basically the strength, straightness, lightness, and range and size are the basic features by which the bamboos are categorized. So categorization is generally done on these parameters, and one of the biggest advantage of bamboo is whatever the basic prerequisites are there for earthquake resistant design of any building system are inculcated in this particular material, mainly high strength to weight ratio. So it is providing high strength and lightweight, lower in weight. So that's why light structures are getting evolved, constructed when you are making use of bamboo, and that's a very good sign to resist the higher magnitude of earthquakes. And that's why, so this is one of, and next property is high cost ratio. So when you compare with the cost of reinforcement bar vis-a-vis bamboo, the cost is very, very minimal. So that is again one of the promising aspect which promote the use of bamboo. Then another issue is the high capacity to withstand the repetitive loading. Repetitive loading, I mean the fatigue loading whenever it is subjected to. This is much better material than any of the other in terms of repetitive loading resistance. Then whenever you are talking about the excellent engineering property in terms of seismic is concerned, then every time people will talk about energy dissipation capacity or deformability. So that again is being provided in an exceptionally good manner by bamboo. So these are the four virtues which promotes the utilization of bamboo in housing sector. And when you talk about what are the species which are generally being adopted or produced in our country, so these are the 16 species which has been which has been highlighted by our IS 15912, which is still at the draft stage. So these are the 16 species which have been highlighted, which are predominantly available in our country, and their corresponding properties in green condition and dry condition. Property in particular, whenever you are talking about this from structural engineering point of view, you will definitely are interested to know what is the density, what is the modulus of rupture, what is the modulus of elasticity, and maximum compressive strength. That these property in terms of green state and when it is air dried. So when you look at all these properties which are been tabulated in this slide after a great deal of research and material evaluation on different species. So this shows that the Babusa auriclata is the best species which is contributing a high amount of compressive strength. So basically when you see all these species in which the compressive strength you are getting to the tune of in the range of around 35 MPa to 50 MPa, which is quite good or quite higher than the conventionally or use concrete. At the same time, another important parameter which promotes the use of bamboo is based on the modulus of rupture. When you talk about the modulus of rupture, particularly for the Babusa species, which is around 65.1 MPa, followed by again Bellucoa, in which the corresponding figure is again 65.4, which again promotes the use of bamboo as a structural element in building systems. When you are talking about the density, which is basically hovering between 500 to 700 kg per meter cube. So these are the again engineering property which promotes the uh, use of bamboo in our building systems. When you talk about the bamboo as a how it is being produced and brought to the finished product in terms of a building or building components, so basically when you talk about bamboo is a nature's gift, which is it is high time to adopt it as a raw material for for construction of a building. Basic reason is because of its properties of high tensile strength, high strength to weight ratio. It is having an excellent pressure tolerance up to 3600 kg per centimeter square. Then easy to handle with simple tools and can be handled by a semi-skilled person also. And at the same time it is giving good opportunity for the local artisans as an employment. And important thing is renewable raw material. So these are the properties which promotes or push forward this material as a raw material for construction of a building. And what benefit I am getting when I'm utilizing this material in building construction is eco-friendly, high energy efficient and cost effectiveness. And but only it suffers a limitations in terms of ductility, short durability component to wood, then high moisture to and starch content, prone to fungi, and then service life is limited to around 6 years to 7 years. So for that purpose, you have gone. You need to do proper treatment. Depending that again depends upon the condition in which it is exposed to, weathering conditions basically, and what is the species you are utilizing. So when you are talking about the treatment, just now my previous presenter has discussed a lot. I don't want to go into detail, but from the treatment point of view, there are two ways: preservation by traditional methods by means of a curing, smoking, soaking, or seasoning, whereas chemically treated, which are being promoted when you are utilizing this material for the building sector, and for that purpose you can make use of a boric acid, borax, boron, and that can be utilized by means of diffusion or modified brochure process. So chemical treatment is recommended, and you can make use of any of these chemicals, and the composition could be between 4 to 10% of the solution. Then when you talk about the mechanical process for cutting, slicing, knotting, or silvering, so it is very easy process, and because of these all properties you can make use of the bamboo for different building or building components. So this is an ideal proposition. When you talk about the our understanding about the bamboo as a different structural element or a different material for different purposes, there is wide range of Indian standards, ranging from IS 14588 to IS 154776. But from structural point of view, you have to refer to IS 15912 2017, which is still at the draft stage, but that basically focuses the mechanical and engineering properties and different gradings, which are depending upon the different species. To have a more insight into this aspect, we have to see that what makes me weak, what makes the bamboo as a weak entity. So that is basically attack of fungi, and for that purpose you have to go for proper treatment, and for the treatment purpose which need to be carried out during the green conditions, and for that purpose detailed methodologies and proportions can be referred from IS 9096 2006. But definitely from structural point of view, you have to look into the from different perspective, from durability. And but when you are talking about the preservation, coal tar, copper, acid cupric, copper or bony acid, these are the different chemicals you can make use of for the treatment. The broadly, the treatment process or process of preservation, I will say, encompasses that the first of all the surface application, and this in which the mixed or the solution is kept in a tank, and then it is supplied to a manifold by means of a connecting pipe, and manifold is connected with different walls, and in which these walls are indirectly connected to the bamboo which need to be treated, and due to the gravitational, the chemical or the mix is entered into the bamboo through the nozzle, and thus the diffusion process takes place. So this can be done by hot and cold method. But from the structural point of view, you can refer at the moment National Building Code 2016 Part 6 Structural Design, in which you have to go for Section 3, which is basically focusing on the timber and bamboo. So Section 3B is dedicated for the bamboo as a structural element for building constructions, in which it clearly categorizes 20 species, and when our code refers around 16 species, and further it is classified into the group A, B, and C. A, and that again depends upon its modulus of rupture, modulus of elasticity, and compressive strength. So this is the classification which is generally being followed for for classifying different species in group A, B, and C. So whenever this modulus of rupture is more than 70, E is more than 9, and then maximum compressive strength is more than 35, then it is said to be as group A, which is excellent excellent quality of bamboo. Another this classification further permits the safe permissible stresses whenever you are dealing with the engineering design or as a structural element. So permissible stresses are limited for different species, and for that purpose the stresses what you need is extreme fiber stress, modulus of elasticity, and allowable compressive stress. So this is again tabulated in this particular draft code of IS 15912. So When you talk about the species which is available in our country in majority way, that is the bambusa and the dendroceras, in which the height, diameter, internode and thickness are the important parameters which need to be seen, in which so this table basically specifies the range of these parameters which normally we get in our country. So thickness is very, very important. So you have to limit the thickness of bamboo wall minimum 8 mm. So that one has to be very careful. But this height, that again varies from species to species, diameter also varies, and internode depth, that also varies. When you see the different gradings of bamboo structural system, it depends upon the what is the diameter, what is the length, taper of the culm, straightness, internodal length, wall thickness, and density and strength, and durability and seasoning. So these are the important parameters which classifies the bamboo into different grades. So when you name it as a group A and group B, for that purpose again further classification is done as a special grade, grade 1, 2 and 3. That depends mainly on the diameter of the bamboo, that is 70 to 100 is called as or referred as a special grade, whereas grade 1 is ranging from 70 mm to 50 mm, or 50 mm to 70 mm. Grade from grade 2 it is between 30 to 50 mm, and grade 3 is less than 30 mm. Important aspect in terms of a taper, that it should not be more than 5.8 mm per meter. When you talk about the curvature, the maximum curvature should not be more than 75 mm in length for a given length of 6 meters for any grade of bamboo. Then wall thickness, as I mentioned earlier, that minimum wall thickness is expected as 8 mm, whereas the defects that has to be looked into from or for more than 3 mm depth from outer shell. When you want to after understanding the different classifications, species, grades, and engineering property, now we'll come to the structural system. How we can connect different element of a structural system with each other. So to begin with, if we are making use of bamboo, suppose for the trusses, so pin jointed connections are predominantly used, or otherwise you can make use of a gusset by means of a ms 3 mm plate. You can connect two different bamboo elements to for the as per the required design or desired design to meet out the structural system. When you have to connect the, so this is about the joint. Now the connection between the two bamboo units, these connections could be either lapped or butted. When you are focusing on the connections lap joints in bamboo, so again that can be done in three alternative ways. So one is the full lap splice joint. You can see in the topmost figure of this particular slide, in which the after overlapping the two bamboo, wherein you have to look into that at least one internode is fully covered through the lapping, and then it can be connected by means of a pin. Alternatively, what you can have, for the similar diameter of a bamboo, you can cut in a rectangular shape like tongue and groove system, and then after it is being overlapped, then you can connect these two bamboos by means of a bolts. And third one is, after, again it can be a play that is the lapped splice joint with the pegs and battens, in which again after lapping holes are drilled and then pin or pegs are inserted, or otherwise it can be wrapped or tightened using some kind of a strips or steel GI wires. When you are again further, the jointing could be done in terms of we have seen just now the lap joints. Now as regards to the butt joint with side plate in bamboo, in this two bamboo units are joined at the end to end, and then over these two jointing element, the dowel or pins are placed, and it can be encircled by means of a, again, the sharply cut bamboo having a little bit higher diameter, which is covering entire circumferential area of the bamboo to be connected. And then through these holes, either you can insert the pin or a bolting, and then it can be tightened. Another approach could be the sleeve and inserts for banded joints, or otherwise the scrap. In the scrap, you can connect the two bamboo instead of 90 degrees end-to-end connections. The bamboos are cut at a degrees of around 40 to 60 degrees inclination, and then upon they can be connected with each other at this particular scrap portion, and it can be tightened by means of again pin or bolting. There are different alternatives further can be done for the butt jointed bamboos, which you can see in this. In this, the saddle and nodes are again connected by means of a hole, and then it is connected by means of a pin. When you have two different sizes of a bamboo, means in particular when you are using the bamboo as a vertical element having a larger diameter, and which is supporting a bamboo having a little bit smaller diameter, in that case you can cut the square notch at the end and the tendons, and wherein the truss or rafters can be sitting, and then it can be connected. So this kind of a variation on sandal joint, the detailing is shown here. So at this point of detailing, these two different elements can be connected by means of a tendon and key joint, and integral tendon or horn kind of a joints, in which again the connections is done by means of a pin. The rafter connections are also can be done in that similar fashion, but interestingly, when you are utilizing the gusset plates, so you have to ensure that you have to create the slit into the bamboo, and through that slit you have to insert this gusset plate. Normally 2.4 to 3.2 mm thick gusset plate or MS plate is adequate for making this insert and connecting two different cords of which are basically made from the bamboo. And subsequently, the connections are achieved through these gusset plates. Another innovative way of connecting the bamboo is by means of a nut and bolt, in which first option is system with the narrowed end. In this, basically the bamboo is cleared and then it is plugged with the wooden plug, and once it is plugged inside tightly, then further it is encased by means of a aluminium or steel ring, so that it is tightened adequately, and it could be an integral part of bamboo walls. And afterwards the MS bolt is inserted, which is basically providing a good connection between the two different bamboo elements. Another alternative way of arranging the bearing arrangement for the bearing with use of nut and bolt could be when you have a requirement of deeper or larger load transformation. So in that case, you have to insert the wooden plug at a slightly deeper into the bamboo, and thereafter you can connect the two different horizontal elements. This is till now we have seen the bamboo when it is connected at different elemental level in the superstructures, but very interesting to know how we can connect this bamboo with the foundation or to the substructure. So when you have such kind of a occasion, in that case you have the foundation, predominantly it is making use of your concrete elements or masonry. So in that you have to ensure that the bamboo is inserted, means bamboo once the bamboo connections are made, then it can be provided with the pin or plug, and then it can be provided with the inserts, MS rods, and embedment depth must be into the masonry or concrete to the tune of minimum 20 times the diameter of the bar. Whatever the diameter of the bar, 8 mm or 10 mm you are using as a bolting mechanism, to connect it to the substructure. So for that purpose, these are the different alternatives you can adopt to connect the superstructure of which is basically made from bamboo to the substructures to have good integrity. So another approach could be to connect the foundations with the superstructure by means of a metallic strap. Metallic strap could be by making use of a MS flat, maybe 3 to 4 thick, and which has basically provided at the periphery at the and it is adequately bolted to the bamboo. Basically, anchorage is being done by the MS flats, which are and the bolts are used to connect this MS flat with the bamboo. So this is how the embedment is done into the concrete by means of this MS flat, and in which this MS flat is provided at all the corners perpendicular this 4 times you can see in this, and then it is basically inserted into the concrete. Alternative way is that it can be provided with the C clamp. In this, this kind of a clamp which basically tightens the uh, bamboo into the concrete, and this clamps is provided with protruded portion which basically ensures the good anchorage between the concrete and the bamboo and making an interface to get more strength. When we are attempting to use bamboo as a reinforcement in the concrete elements, so basically bamboo reinforced concrete, if we are talking about, so you should know the important characteristics of bamboo. And when we compare these characteristics in terms of its relative these characteristics in terms of stresses, that is the modulus of elasticity, tensile stress, compressive stress, bond stress, and shear stress. These are the stresses which normally a designer needs, or its range he needs to design any concrete element appropriately. So for that purpose, this particular slide gives a very good comparison of strength characteristics of mild steel, bamboo, and concrete for reinforcing purpose. So wherein also it is very clearly shows the ranges of these different stresses. When you talk about the tensile stress, it is range it is 15.8 MPa. When compressive strength is you concerned, so it is for the given species. So you can pick up based on your species these different strength characteristics property for the design. When you are dealing with the design, the data you need further require is in terms of modular ratio, position of neutral axis from the top, then lever arm for resisting the moment, and the constants for moment of resistance. So QDB, that is a bending moment, then depth of the thickness and width. So these all ranges are given here for the bamboo. So modular ratio can be taken in the range of 1 to 1.4. Position of neutral axis from the top could be from ranging 1/4 of the D, that is 0.25 D. D is the effective depth of the structural element. Then the lever arm of the resisting moment could be 0.917 to 0.915 D, and the constant for moment of resistance Q can be considered as 86. So this is the very important figures. These are the very important figures which can be considered while designing the bamboo reinforced concrete elements. When you are making use of again bamboo as a structural element, particularly the vertical load carrying element, so in that case you can make use of a single bamboo if you have a good diameter, reasonable diameter of the bamboo and good species, or otherwise if your load requirement is higher, you can club the bamboo as one piece or 3 piece or 5 or 6, the way you can see in this particular slide. That is the integrated bamboo for forming the bundle of columns and their fastening. So that again depends upon how much axial load or lateral load you are aiming for, and according to that, you have to combine or bunch the different diameters of the bamboo together and wrap them by making or connect them together by means of either bolt or pin connections, or by means of a steel or GI sheet. Now, when you are making use of a bamboo as a only vertical element, that is fine, but and we are aware that the bamboo is very good in resisting the lateral loads, but sometimes when you are using as a structural systems, you need to have adequate lateral resistance apart from the ductility and deformability. And in that case, in addition to connect this bamboo vertically and brace it horizontally, it is good practice that you can brace you can provide the diagonal braces by means of a MS strap. That MS strap width again depends upon the size or span of your wall. So now I'm trying to use these bamboo reinforced structural walls. So for that purpose, to achieve the better lateral load resistance, you can provide the 25 to 50 wide ISF, Indian standard flat sections, having a thickness of 3.2 or 3.5 depending upon your size of the panel, and it can be connected diagonally the way you can see in this figure, and which definitely provides an excellent lateral load resistance and improves further the lateral load resistance capacity of the structural system when you are making use of the bamboo. Another, these are the different connection systems what you can see to achieve the better. So this is basically by means of a bolting system. In this, first of all, you have to drill the hole and then connect these two different elements of the bamboo by means of either bolt or by means of a steel or galvanized wires. So now when you are looking into the different kind of bamboos, so this kind of a different approaches when you are doing, so then only you will be able to increase the improve the deformation capacity of the bamboo, in addition to its whatever the property you have. So one thing is very clear, that bamboo is having excellent properties in terms of seismic resistance, but further you can improve these properties when you are making use of this particular material as a structural system. So in this case, it is hardly people are using, but we need to promote this kind of a this techniques, so that further improvised design solutions can be dedicated. But one thing is very sure, all these technologies, whatever I told, joints, species, they have been tested, but different joints, connection systems, and this as a structural systems, this is looks to be very good or promising, but definitely need to be tested in the laboratory. Then only the confidence and its actual design procedures can be worked out. By now, there are no specific guidelines for design of bamboo as a structural system, so that need to be worked out, and for that purpose greater deal of research and introspection into its properties in terms of the structural systems is required. And for that purpose, our goal is to share the knowledge on bamboo housing construction practices and encourage the bamboo as a construction technologies for as a system at a system level, not as a building element for non-structural element but structural element, and to develop the guidelines and technical resources for improving the bamboo construction. And for that purpose, detailed R&D is required from structural engineering point of view, and which is being done at our institute CBRI. And our further goal is to offer the services and technical support to the community of across the country for improving or for scaling the use of bamboo as a structural system. So for that purpose, these are our focus area of research to promote the use of bamboo in buildings or building system or housing systems to meet out the aspirations of the society. But ultimately, we are aiming to develop a design aid for structural design, structural designs of for housing in particular, using bamboo as a systems. So in this, we need to work upon innovative joints, and once the joints are innovative, they should be executable at site. But definitely before taking into the site, it need to be tested on a full scale level. Then we have to work out very simplified structural design solutions which can be carried out by a common man. So these all these things will be done very shortly at our institute. But let us, at this point of time, let us participate in the exciting and challenging phase of the bamboo as a structural system, structural use, and its growth and reaches out to the more community. So with this, I close my presentations. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer those. Thank you so much for your kind attention.